Welcome to the Reticle Up podcast, where I, Threega Kenzie, will be interviewing competitive shooters, hunters, fishermen, archers, entrepreneurs, and outdoorsmen. Come learn with me as I interview people from all walks of life, in different disciplines, all across the world, from novices to professionals of all ages. No matter what, everyone has something they can teach you, so come join me on the journey. Welcome back, listeners, to the Reticle Up podcast. I'm here with Tomas. I've already probably said his name wrong, but he is a steel sommelier. Again, probably did say that wrong as well, but thank you for coming on the podcast.
Absolutely. You're doing great. I mean, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. You did good.
Yeah, thank you. So this is a whole new territory for me. I've had Outlier knives on before and got to talk with Rob. So you're like my second knife wielding expert here.
There we go. Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to be here. We're on the cutting edge of new.
Oh,
there it is.
The dad joke already.
Starting already, baby. Let's go.
Oh. So let me preface this to listeners too. He is at Tactical Tavern on Instagram. Guys, he fights dummies and wields these blades, and I'm sure he has, we're going to talk about it, but doesn't cut himself on videos that I've seen.
I still have
all 10
fingers. I had to count real quick.
I love it. So I'm curious because I don't know a lot about your background. Who are you? What do you do? And how did you end up into the place you're in? And I don't want the short version. I kind of want the long version of how we're here right now.
Absolutely. It's been an interesting process because, I mean, holy smokes, the technology is amazing. It's been a blessing being able to connect with so many new people. And that's kind of where I started the Tactical Tavern YouTube channel. It was bred from terrible experiences in the outdoors and with gear. It was miserable. I'm a scout, like first and foremost, like a young Boy Scout going on his first camping trip. And I had nothing, right? It was like the first one ever. And we went to like Walmart, Big Five, and got all the budget gear, Not a good idea. And we get to the campsite, we set up, which took forever, by the way. Mm-hmm. And that night, like a big storm comes in and just floods everything. The tent obviously does not hold up. The sleeping bag turned into like a water balloon, because it's just like, it was gross. And on top of that, we had set up on an anthill. So then all these like bugs start coming out. Ugh. And it was just terrible. I'm just like, in the middle of the night shivering. And so my friend Matthew and I, we like wake up the next morning. All these other scouts like rush to help us. They're like building a fire, drying out our socks. I'm embarrassed because, the guy, Dave at Big Five, said this was the best gear. And Dave's a liar.
Is that his name? Was that his actual name? Oh, that'd be really funny if you remembered that.
Put him on blast, his like full name. Like, yeah. No, he was just a young kid. He was like he was just trying to like get me into it, and it was not good gear. So as soon as I got back from that camping trip, I was like, holy smokes, I know there's better gear out there to make this experience more enjoyable. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm going to invest in quality gear. And as soon as that happened, there's kind of like the shift in like the troop where I became like the go-to guy for gear recommendations of like, well, no, you don't want this tent because that's going to stink, or maybe try this flashlight because it'll last longer. And soon enough, some friends in martial arts, because I kind of got into martial arts, were like, hey, what knife do you think I should do? Or hey, my girlfriend is interested in this. Is this a good option? And I sent a video to one of my friends, and it was like comparing a couple of knives. And he's like, bro, you should post this. This is good. And I go, yeah, let's do it. And let me tell you what, that was like the worst video ever. I was so awkward, like on camera. This was about, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. Like if I watch it now,
cringe.
Get me a drink, girl.
Yes.
Like how many times do I say the word or like, am I stuttering? It was bad. So it's been a process of just really wanting to help other people find gear, get into everyday carry, which is kind of like that big theme. Understanding that, knives are tools. First and foremost, they're tools. Everyone uses one every single day, whether they realize it or not, from buttering up peanut butter and jelly to, slicing steaks. Like people use knives. So yeah, the martial arts aspect of that really gave me a fond respect for it, and that's where the Tactical Tavern came about. Is just helping other people get connected with good gear.
Yeah. No, okay. So I want to back up. I love what you just said about the very first video, because a lot of people don't see where you got to or where you started from. And something I even posted on my personal Facebook a couple days ago was my first podcast sucked. My first shooting match sucked. My first whatever sucked. It's like, and I cringe. Don't listen to the first 5 episodes of this podcast. Just like, just throw those out. No, they were great, but it's like, I can't listen to myself at all on those episodes now, but you
Absolutely.
have to start.
That's the key right there. Is just one foot in front of the other. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna learn from them. And at the end of the day, I feel like you're gonna be much more satisfied building something on your own than just having it handed to you. Or like, do you get what I'm saying? You know,
Oh,
people,
oh yeah.
oh yeah, did this, but it's like, nah, I know 3 other people that already made that for you instead of building it yourself. And similar with guns, probably too.
Yeah.
You know it better, it works better. Absolutely.
Yeah, I could take my shirt off and then get it handed to me, or I could work harder, keep it on, and prove that I know my stuff. Yeah, 100%.
Course, absolutely. Yeah, and you build your repertoire
Yeah.
too of friends and community, and that's really what it's about. Like I was talking to someone the other day and they said like it's not about how much money you make. It's not about your net worth. It's about your network,
Yeah.
the community of people that you have. And that I was like, shoot, man, I
Yep.
like that.
100%.
So, yeah.
Yep. So, Boy Scout and scouting is something that I wish like more people got into. Same with like my shooting world is like being a junior shooter, having parents kind of get you involved. Scouting, I think for me at least is where I learned a lot of stuff I never even thought I thought about, right? Like it's like, oh, it came from scouting where it was cooking or something like prepping or cleaning gear or knowing the right gear and testing it out. So talk about like how the scouting really kind of prepares you for survival, prepping, like kind of all of those skills that people don't have anymore, really.
It's kind of like a lost art, in all honesty. Just, I mean, scouting not only for me prepared me for like the outdoors, but also like urban life, like day-to-day things. Because like, yeah, some nights, we're camping and we're roughing it, we're setting up hammocks and tying knots, but then the following you're sitting in front of a board of like 5 to 8 like grown men that have beards, and you like have to like talk, right? And they're like burning into your soul, like, tell me about that mirror badge, son. And I'm like, but then, nowadays it's like, okay, cool. Now I can go into a board or go into a meeting and it's like pitch this idea or talk about things. And it gave me that self-confidence and self-reliance in the outdoors and in the indoors too.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think the soft skills of communicating with people is a lot of that too, for sure.
I mean, technology is good, but it's also kind of bad because it's like I've seen some of these hate comments that I've gotten and they're not spelled right. So it
I can't believe you even mentioned that. That actually, it's like it just value, or what is it, validates, so it non-validates everything that they just
just
said.
like, oh my gosh, like if you're gonna come at me, spell right, okay?
Yes,
Jake 4432. Like, what are you doing, dude? No, I'm joking. That's a fake username. Don't look
I
him up.
keep asking. It's like, is that real? I'm gonna look that up later.
No, it's not that. It's not. No, but I mean, it's like, yeah, but just I don't know, be a good person.
Yeah, yeah. So, were you one of those people that kind of adopted YouTube early on, or when did you start your YouTube channel?
No, I started it 2 years ago, I
Okay.
believe. When it was kind of wild to think about the growth because we just hit 20,000 subscribers
Oh yeah.
2 days ago. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been a lot of work.
Mhm.
It's like it's been a lot of sacrifice, a lot of things that I missed out on because I believe in what this could be and what it is becoming. So I started it pretty young. I wasn't really like on there, um, you know, doing TikTok dances, but recently gotten into it. I don't know if you've seen that.
So I'm not on TikTok, but I've looked that up before in the profiles, and because like I don't want it on my phone, but I do watch some of these videos of influencers because that's my job is to look up YouTubes and TikTok, dude. That's what I'm saying. Your flair and your style, which I want to go into, is like being yourself, really does come off on camera very well of who you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been a journey, I'll tell you that right now. Like trying to find out the voice of who you are, how other people want to see you. Because a couple of the videos that I have millions of views, and it's like wild. You never know what's going to pop off. thank goodness it's me stabbing into a ballistic dummy, so that's great, like like wow, this guy I don't know, kind of interesting, it's science, it's like they used it on Mythbusters, I've told people, but
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of weird just going into it. But yeah, I mean, you just got to be yourself and just be true to yourself.
Yeah, so I own a marketing agency and I always talk to people about brand, whether it's like brand voice or having a spokesperson or if you're going to have like an animated character or what have you. And so truly what influencers have done without realizing it is they have built their own brand around their name or their username or what have you. But that comes with a style. So like you've got your shirt on now, which is very you. I've seen the pictures, it's just they're fun and so like you really created a brand. I don't know if you realize that. Maybe you do, but you did.
I think I've realized it recently, and I think you saying it really just helps cement the fact that you're right. Like, there's the name,
Yeah.
but then there's the brand, and it's like, what does this represent? You could take a $20 knife, or you could take a $200 knife, and it's how you present it and make it approachable to the audience that really separates it from other content creators. But yeah, I don't know. The word influencer just
Cringe.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen them in action because I've worked a lot of shows. I've been to like Shot Show. I've been to like Blade Show,
Mhm.
and they just I don't know. My goal is to put a different spin on that word
Yeah.
and be more so a brand ambassador and align myself with brands I believe in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we went with the steel sommelier.
Yeah, Steel Sommelier, baby.
Sommelier, I still can't say it. I am a redneck from
Sommelier.
Lover, Alabama. I can't say
Yeah,
it.
that's what it is. I love
So,
it.
say it again.
Sommelier.
I give up.
Steel Sommelier.
Sommelier. See, I can't.
Sommelier. I don't know. I'm probably saying it wrong. I gotta call it Bastion. I don't know if you've heard of Bastinelli knives.
Yes.
He's
Oh, yeah.
he's a French guy. Who's a
Yes.
bonjour.
No, I met all of them at my very first Blade show, and I actually bought one of their like small thin knives that's just awesome for like the side of the belt. I mean, it's really cool. So yeah, I had to get a Bastinelli. They're really nice.
Bastinelli's got a great thing going. He's one of my favorite designers.
Yeah, and
Absolutely
I
beautiful.
know like Catherine Trust has been doing a lot of their content too. So like getting to hang out with them at Blade Show and meet them in person, they've just been killing it with content. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's fun. Okay, backing up in terms of where you started and where you are now too. I like this is kind of like that, I would say inspirational moment, right? But how much work did you put in to create reels and edit and create those YouTube videos and stuff? Like, what does that look like behind the scenes that people really don't see? And is this you by yourself, by the way, like with a tripod, with a phone? Like, what are you doing to create this?
Most of the time it is. However, it's a family business. And a lot of people don't realize that I've enlisted the help of my friends and my family. Um, to help me edit, to help me, come up with ideas. Because when you're in it, you're only seeing this much. You're
Yeah.
seeing the tree, but you're not seeing the forest. And so it's like, I remember recently I had one of these ideas to like test out, some self defense product, and I was like, what if we hang it from the tree or something like this? And one of my family members is like, that's just trashy, and I'm like, oh no. They just like call it like it is. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I try to surround myself with people that will call me out on that and be like, hey, why don't we try this idea and build it better. But to answer your question, yeah, it's hours of like not doing knife stuff. So when people like get you a product or you're working with someone, like there's testing, there's filming it, there's editing it, sometimes scripting or just taking notes down on what it does, then there's captioning, posting. Oh my goodness. It's a lot. And I think people just see like that final product. It's kind of like a chef. Like when they're cooking, you just get brought that meal, but you don't understand that they've been there since 4 a.m. dicing those chives.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's a lot of
So,
prep work into it.
how long does it take you to go through like the footage and do the final product? And again, is that you editing or do you have an editor?
I have an editor now.
Nice. Nice.
Praise God. Um, because
That's
it's a
that's where I'm in the boat. Is I found someone. I don't know that she'll get there yet. I might need another one, but like to keep up with what I want to do, you need an editor, and it's a painful process to find.
It is, and I still do, majority of it, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's like those long nights where you're like, we're gonna send this to someone. But I think it's beautiful because you get to see different perspectives on things, and it's kind of like a gamble of like what works,
Huh.
what doesn't, And then again, kind of like what you said, just finding out who you are and finding out who your niche is,
Mm.
um, and then coming up with creative ways to reach outside of that. And that for me has been, I don't know if you've seen some of the videos of like the Michael Myers, the horror movie stuff, has been kind of a fun way to like branch out and connect with different people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the fun part is and the editor stuff, like kind of what you mentioned is like you send off this footage sometimes and you have a vision for what you would want or what the clips would lay out like, right? And then you see their finished product and it might be something completely totally different of how they told the story that you filmed.
Exactly, exactly. And I mean, that's kind of cool because you can see what they thought or how it could translate to different audiences.
Yep.
So there's always that flexibility. And it's kind of like Bob Ross, it's like you can just paint over it, just,
You
flip.
seem like that personality type actually. Are you type B?
Type B?
Yeah.
Like badass or what? Like,
You did take that, run with it.
joking. I'm joking.
That was good. That was good.
I don't know. I have to do one of those. What is it? Dang, it's like right on the tip of my tongue. The INFJ.
Oh, test. Personality test.
What's that? Myers Briggs. There,
Myers-Briggs. Yeah. Yeah.
there it is. It came
Um,
to me.
but I think that is, oh God, that's really funny. Is thinking about that. Bob Ross. Um, Question on you on going to shows too. Like, when did you first go? Did you go to SHOT Show first or Blade Show first?
So this is actually kind of a fun story. The first show that I went to was Blade Show West.
Okay.
When they still had it. I think it was in LA. It was in LA. And I had just started my YouTube channel. So it was like the first show. I took like all of my savings and I go, you know what? I'm gonna just go. I'm gonna bet on myself. I'm gonna see what happens and I'm gonna go. And that was honestly the best thing I could have ever done.
Yep.
I connected with mainly like the highlight of that trip was connecting with Wee and Savivi.
Yes.
And then one of the guys there, Jim O. Young, who's also a knife designer, he was like, "You got high energy."
You know he's a competitive shooter as well.
Absolutely.
So that's how I know him. And yeah.
He's good too.
Yeah.
He's very fast.
Very good.
And I'm like, bro, you're like older. Respectfully, you're
Hey, that's
older.
why he uses that red dot and that open gun. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But he's got that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? If they're still in the game,
He's one of
man,
the OGs, like from
dude,
yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but okay. So
no,
so we and
this
Savini,
is
yeah.
this is so fun. Yeah. So Jim Young was the guy that introduced me to Seth and Kyle. Took me over to the Wicked Edge booth, and while I was there at the show, I'd like entered into the raffle. Was talking to someone else and people are like trying to find me and I had won the raffle, but I had to be there to claim it. So I didn't win it. So I'm like, so I don't know. That was cool. But anyway, but I'm still connected with them and now I get to work with them on like a more professional level
Yeah.
instead of just winning product. So that was fun. But yeah, it turned into like an invitation to come to SHOT Show. And if you can imagine someone that's kind of just new to the industry,
Right.
going to SHOT Show for the first time.
Overwhelming. What year was this?
2 years ago, I think, or no, right, the first out of the pandemic too. So was it
Yeah, so
2020?
2021. Well, 2020 was
21?
canceled.
Oh
21.
yeah, they got canceled. 2021 that
Is that
show.
right? Is that right? Or is it 22?
I think
Maybe
it
it
was
was
20.
22. Okay, I don't know anymore. People are gonna be like yelling at the podcast, like, Kinsey, why do you not know? But yes, I was there. That was
It
my
was
favorite year because there was better connections with every single person in the industry because it was like 50% of like the media and the influencer people we don't love weren't there, but it was the best show that I've ever been to.
absolutely, and it was so fun. And it was like everyone was telling me like it's really overwhelming, and it was to some extent. But
It is.
just what you talked about, there was not that many people there, like relatively to what it usually is. And so people like other brands were coming up and talking and it was just a blast being able to connect with like other like-minded people
Yep.
and just share a cool experience. And SHOT Show was pretty fun. But yeah, talk about like drinking from the fire hose for your first show.
Yep. You go by yourself.
No, I went with Savivi, we and Savivi.
Okay, but you flew yourself. You were like, I mean, did you stay by yourself?
Yeah.
I'm
I
trying
did
to
not
figure
have
out how you navigate everything by yourself. That's what I was
oh
wondering.
yeah, I did not have a chaperone. I was on my own. I was just out there.
The reason I ask, this is my favorite. It's my favorite thing to do to take a new shot shower around. And so this past year is like I adopted one of my buddies that's a competitive shooter, Tom Castro, and I was like, I'll adopt you and basically like take him to each booth, introduce him to people, and we aren't shy at all. And he's like, "Do you know these people?" And I'm like, "No, but this is what I do. I go up and I talk to people."
Yeah, I know them now.
Yeah.
What's up?
The
Dang, dang, baby.
the POF guys had their lever action, but they had like Cerakoted it. I couldn't even tell you what it looks like, but it had every color of the rainbow, and I don't remember if it was roses or butterflies or whatever. And it's funny because that guy remembered me and saw me at NRA and did a double take. And he's like, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh, you remember?" And he's like, "How could I forget that moment of meeting you guys?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
That's incredible. Didn't you like just paint one of your guns?
I did. I was supposed to say, "Where is it right now?" I just
'Cause I
took photos with it today.
yeah, it looked
Yeah,
really good.
thank you. That
I
was one of
love
those things where it was like I always wanted to paint a rifle, and I did that on the TV show I was on last year with Gun Talk Media, but then I'd never done it myself at home. That video blew up over how ridiculous it looked.
Oh, cool. I love it.
Thank
What
you.
did you the first you're talking about the first one?
This second one, like when I just literally took paintbrushes and like splatter painted it and yeah, clear coated it, and I even put it on Reddit, and there's not a single like negative comment about it. They're like, "This is amazing," actually. Like all these gun dudes were like, "This looks like a clown came all over." Someone said, "Turn on a black light," and I'm like, "Oh my god,
Yo, dang, they're
it
getting
worked."
creative.
The
That's so
engagement
cool.
worked, you know?
Oh man, I love that. No, it looked really fun, and I mean that's the thing. It's all about having fun.
Yeah,
It really is. Like you work hard, but you can also play hard. And I think if you're having fun and you're just being you, people are going to resonate with that, and they're going to want to be a part of the journey. So yeah,
I
I'm glad
agree.
you're doing that.
Thanks. Well, I'm proud of you. I like I admire the knife wielding skills, and I was interested in the shows because what you said too about how like you saved up, you put all your money into investing in yourself and showing up is like people see me now, even now, right? They're like, "Oh, you get to do all this, like lucky you." It's like they don't know I still pay for flights, I still pay for matches, I still drive and pay gas and hotel to do stuff that I want to do. It comes back in sponsorship or product or just someone sharing a post because they met me, right? So it's not always like a monetary thing. It's like an investment into what you want to get out of it, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's you never know who you're going to meet, and I live by that every day. Like you never know who this person is or who they might know.
Yep.
So I just treat everyone like it's like I've known them for a long time.
Yeah.
It
So
works.
okay, let's dive in to this knife wielding skills. Steel sommelier. I don't know how to say it anymore. I give up.
Steel, steel valet. That's you.
Yeah, that's all I got. What made you even want to start spinning this? He's got a blade in his hand for people listening. Like, what made you start doing that?
Goodness, it started out in martial arts. Is really where it came from. I think doing like competitions and like competitive martial arts and competing in different arenas, you're doing a lot of like the bow staff or you're doing the nunchucks or the samurai sword, and a lot of that is a blend between you know understanding what the weapon or tool is capable of, but also that there's an artistic flair and how you can demonstrate that.
Mhm.
And so for me, like looking back at it, it definitely came from the tournaments and the fighting and competing at different levels. So that's kind of where it started. And then it just turned into like fidgeting with it, like just playing around with it, which is so weird to say because it's
Right.
like
It's a
who
blade. It's a weapon.
who does this? Okay, like
Tomas, anywhere you go out to eat, and he's got, hey guys, got any steak knives with circles in them?
oh, that's it. I'm doing like butter, like people are like looking over and I just can't help it, And I love it. It's just very satisfying. There's also a little bit of like an adrenaline dump, I think.
Yeah.
Like just a little hit of that dopamine when you like
So hard. If people are listening to this podcast, go to YouTube and watch it. It's better.
like I don't know when you land a flip or you land a trick.
Mhm.
I think of it kind of like skateboarding, maybe if some people are out there are like surfing, some like outdoor biking, you do a bike jump for mountain bikers. Like there's a point in where you look at that ramp and you're like, that's big, like, I don't know, but you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. And then you do it, and either you do it and it works, or you don't, and you don't do it for a little while. Um, because it hurts. Um, I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
Oh,
I have a good investment in Band-Aids, but
me too.
it's just fun for me at least. And if other people are entertained by it, that to me means a lot. And that's kind of where it came from to where I like continually do it now is just entertainment, is just providing like a little bit of value to where it's like fun, it's cool, it's different. It demonstrates the product. I mean, a lot of the companies like love it because they're like,
Yep. You actually use our product, huh? You don't just take photos with it posed? What?
yeah, exactly. And now it's like there's two things on that. One, it's utilizing the product and finding the balance point of it and like what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses. But then it kind of translates to like that personal protection aspect of it, because a lot of people like don't understand it. They're like, why are you flipping your blade like that? And I tell them, I'm like, here's the thing: if you pick it up weird in the street or your hands are covered in blood and it's sliding, I know I can reposition it and get into a different grip and change the angle on it quickly. So
Yep.
now I can, recalibrate and re-go. You're not going to get to say and when and where you may be attacked, but you can, the only thing you can control is your reaction time and how you deploy your tools.
Mhm.
So why not be good at that? I'll do it with my phone too. I'll just be like sitting there touring my phone. And there's been a couple of moments where like I've gotten up from the table and like dropped it and I've like caught it and like, some like weird way. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, that's what's up. And then just like flipping it and catching it. I'm like, gang, boy, that's why you flip your stuff.
Do you do any hand exercises like with a trainer of like the squeezy thingies?
I mean, usually in traffic, just like squeeze balls. I'm joking. I don't know.
Oh,
You're like, no.
well, I was about to mention where you live, which we won't talk about, but there is
Yeah,
traffic
yeah, yeah.
and it is a nightmare.
It is. I guess trainers are probably like the best thing
Yeah.
that you could invest in or you can make them. One of my new favorite fixed blades is from TKL Knives. It's the Ops Hawk Tonto.
Mm.
Absolutely gorgeous. 80 CRV 2G10 handle scales, but it
I love
but
this.
he made a trainer for me. So now I can practice everything, transitions and stuff, and practice with like other partners and people
Yeah.
without having to buy a new training partner. So you just get a training.
God, the way you said that without missing a beat, I didn't know it was coming. Buy a new
um,
training partner.
I'm just playing.
No, this is amazing.
But yeah, it's a good investment. So anyone that's interested in like starting in that, like I've gotten some comments of people like, hey, cool karambit video, but now I'm sitting in the hospital because I couldn't do it right. And I'm like, hey, have you heard about a trainer, right? Like, dull it or put tape on it and don't try it, uncovered. But
No, and like I've seen a lot of the knife manufacturers, makers. I don't know what you call them really. So I probably butchered that, but they sell kits now where it's like you buy one and you get the trainer that matches that, so you can actually go and train with it.
insane. Like for me, a trainer is like just as valuable as the main tool. So like I took like my old time favorite folding knife, the Espada, and I ground it down. So now I have a trainer that folds,
Huh.
but now I can practice getting it out quickly
How did you just
without.
do that with hitting your wrist? Do it
Oh,
again.
it's AI. It
It's not AI. Stop. Or is this just a wizard trick where it makes it look cool
so
but it does nothing?
no. I literally think this is one of the best ways to open knives. And
Okay.
I mean, Lynn Thompson, the guy that
Yep.
designs, he like does that two-handed grip. But sometimes I'm like, well, what if you're covering? What if you can't get it? And you pull it out, and the wave feature like fails.
Mhm.
It's basically a wave, and you let the weight of the blade deploy it.
Cool.
But if you're in like a tight space, like maybe you're in an elevator or something, and you can't, or you're in a clench, and you can't maximize that whole range of motion, you can just tap it, and it'll pop open. And it
Ah,
just comes out like super quick, and you can do it in reverse grip too. So it's basically just the centrifugal force and the weight of the blade that opens it. But people see it, and either they're like, really like, what the heck was that? Or they're like, why are you slapping your wrist? And I'm like,
why do you go into a Southern man drawl whenever you?
oh, that's family. I don't know. My family makes fun of me. I got a lot of cool people in my life.
No, whenever you imitate like some commenter, it's always a Southern white gentleman.
I I guess I could also dig into the Hispanic side as well.
Mhm.
You know, why you do that, essay? You know, like
That's what I was looking for. There we go. Awesome.
I get everybody. You know,
Uh-huh.
we're
You
out there, but
do more slow-mo videos or do like the regular like motion and then do more slow-mo of what you just did and break it down for people like me, like explaining what that was.
absolutely, a lot of people have been requesting that.
Yep.
That's definitely in the works. I also want to do it justice too. You know, and that's definitely going to be coming soon of some tutorials because
Yep.
people have just don't stop.
Oh yeah. Oh God, what was I gonna ask about the tutorials? I've never paused this long for on a podcast, but there's something I was gonna ask you about that.
It's okay. Let's embrace it.
I know, it's pretty bad. Okay, how many times though? It'll come back to me. How many times
Yeah.
have you cut yourself?
That's a great question. I hate to say this because it's gonna sound like what? When I'm dealing with like a live blade, I have this like hyper focus, and I'm pretty sure you can relate to that or any competitive shooters that are like right before a match, they just everything like zones out and
Mhm.
it's just right on the tip of focus is just dialed in. So when I'm doing something with like a live blade, I'm usually like just on. Normally when I cut myself, it's like in the shop when I'm sharpening or wrapping up an order on a piece of paper or like a loose screw. And it's the most embarrassing thing. I'm not even joking. Like I like because I don't see it like literally the other day I was like scooting along a chair like and I like look and I'm like oh man like I poked myself, let me get my medic out, you know, and I'm like dang I gotta like bandage it up. But and then people always ask like was that a knife that did that, and I'm like no, I'm sad to say it was, you know, a desk or, you know, helping a friend move and it's like on a moving truck. So it's very rare occurrence, knock on wood.
Yep.
uh yeah, I don't like cutting
But
myself, I don't recommend it.
but you've never gotten stitches or had to get stitches or anything extreme from your own knife wielding skills here? Never.
I've had to give myself stitches one time.
Are you trained in the medical field? And I don't know about it.
Maybe a little bit, but like literally, I was pulling out the Espada when I was practicing quick drawing it, and I pulled it out, and I'm like, "Oh, cool, that was fast. I wonder if I can do it faster." And this is when I was like a couple years ago when I was like getting into it. I pull it out, and I stabbed back into my leg, and I had about like a 3 inch uh deep hole to where it was just like you could put like a phone. It was like a pocket. You know what I'm
Stop
saying?
it!
Like it,
Stop it! Stop it!
and I go, "Oh no, this is not good. This is not good." So I literally just got out a suture kit that I had and bit down on a little bamboo stick, and you just got to do what you got to do.
You're insane.
Was it was it the best
No,
thing? No, but
no.
I don't have health insurance, so I didn't want to go. I'm joking.
Still?
I do. I do. I do. I do. I'm playing. I'm playing.
I mean, I have really crappy because I work for myself, so I have to pay self-insured insurance. But that's a real thing where my finger cost me $1,000 to get 3 stitches.
Hey, that's the thing. Like it is, healthcare is expensive.
Mhm.
So just yeah, get your own kit and do it yourself. Save some
No,
money.
no, that's
I'm
not.
joking. I'm joking. I'm
Yeah, that's
not.
not
You're gonna be like, "Wow, this saved me
disclaimer.
3 grand." Yeah,
Yeah, no.
like resetting their arm. They come to a show, you know.
My God.
Hey,
Yeah,
give me a
yeah.
couple grand. I'm like, "Oh
I'm gonna
no."
get DMs now. Be like, listen, go
Yeah.
to Tomas and ask him questions. I don't know.
No, but yeah, I've gotten smarter from that. Like, obviously, go see a medical professional, but just don't do it in the first place. Just be careful. I mean, I think there's a balance between like, you know, treating it as a tool for what it is, and then there's like this performance side. So I always encourage folks, don't try what you see at home.
Yeah.
You know, leave it to people like me who are half educated to do it. You know, just don't do anything too crazy, but it's fun. I love playing around with them and part of. I don't know. It's cool.
No, it's awesome. I remember the question I was gonna ask too.
Oh,
What are
nice.
our thoughts on butterfly knives?
Oh, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. I love it. So I train a lot in Filipino martial arts, and for me, the balasong is like the ultimate like Filipino weapon in a sense, besides the eskrima stick and all that. But it's rooted in culture and it's rooted in some symbolic beauty. In my humble opinion, I love it. Now you fast forward to today and the blade show competitions and the balasong stuff. It's cool. I love it. I just think sometimes it can get a little interesting. You know, you're like talking to this guy and he's just in the corner, like,
Mhm.
you
So
know, and I'm like,
I felt unsafe. Okay, so like again, coming from the gun world, you don't, well, I do see this. So, okay, I'm going to walk this back. Several things. So, you don't go to SHOT Show and see a bunch of people walking around, like taking the demo guns and pointing them at people and aiming them at people. You do see
Right.
that, but you're not supposed to. But that's the other thing is like going to Blade Show, I felt very uncomfortable, not because of like anything I would do, but it's like the people that were playing with the balisong knives were the kids, and the
Right.
kids are, even if they're fully capable, it's like they don't realize how quickly somebody could trip and fall, they could cough, they could sneeze, like, and then they're just not sure of the personal space that I'm in. And it's like, holy crap, these are weapons. They're not trainers. These parents are buying them the actual freaking blades. And
Right.
no joke, I didn't even walk down 2 aisles of Blade Show because I was actually fearful of these weapons that are being deployed on the show.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely got to be careful. I mean, I think there's like good. It's like smoking, you know? There should be designated areas for that, you know?
There are at the show too. It's like there's like the competitions, you got the stages, like you have different rooms. And that's what was like so disconcerting is like these are weapons. They're fun, but yeah, it was something where I felt very uncomfortable for a lot of Blade Show because of me and my accident proneness. Like it would be me to get stabbed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you definitely have to be like aware of it, but I think it's also like it's a beautiful thing. I always recommend trainers, kind of like what we talked about a little earlier. Do it with a trainer, and then especially if you're in like a public setting, I personally wouldn't want to risk, having something go south.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to be careful, and I totally respect you for not going down that because why put yourself in a sticky situation if you don't have to be? But it is mesmerizing to watch. I mean, there are some absolutely amazing and talented people that do it, and I have all respect to them because it's fun to watch.
Yeah. Okay, we're about to jump down to the rabbit hole then of a couple of things. Let's start with you're trying out people. Who are some maybe like whether full names or Instagram usernames or whatever? Who are some, I guess, oh my gosh, steel sommeliers? I still say that wrong. Sommelier. Jesus Christ.
Blade enthusiasts,
Blade
yeah.
enthusiasts that people should go follow or know about if they are trying to dive down this hole.
Ooh, that is an amazing question. First that comes to mind is my dad, Fieldworks. That goes by FLD Field Works WRX. Yeah, it's so weird because he takes out all the vowels. I did Common Core, so I'm a little behind. But it.
Favorite person.
I'm playing, but yeah, it's FLDWRX Fieldworks. Ryan is an incredible human. He does a lot of like security classes. He does professional security all over the world. He does some really cool knife stuff, silver. Check out Ryan Fieldworks. Who else is a good one?
Who do you follow? Whose content do you like and watch?
That's a great one. Blade HQ. If you're new to gadgets, gear, everyday carry, Blade HQ is a great way to get inundated with
Yep.
all sorts of stuff. They have it all, and I enjoy working with them a lot. We did a couple videos last year, which were just so fun.
Yep.
One of them was on the balisong, which was super cool. Blade HQ is good. Knife Center. If you're just new and you're like, where do I start? Check out Blade HQ Knife Center. Smoky Mountain Knife Works.
You know it's in my
Like,
backyard, right? Smoky Mountain.
is it really?
Yeah, it's literally 30 minutes from my house. So, yeah, I got to meet TJ at the show at Blade Show finally, and I'm like, dude, or TC, oh my God, he's gonna kill me for that. TC, I got to meet him, and it was nice because I'd always seen TC on the videos, and I follow them. I've been in there and bought knives from there, right? And so I knew his personality. That's the other stuff that I love is like, I've watched your videos. I don't even know your name. I really want to meet him. And Blade Show was where we connected, and now like we're friends. He's literally like 20 minutes from my house. Like it's just so cool to connect with industry people, and I adore him and love that he does the content that he does too.
Man, that is so cool.
So cool. I had to go down that, but like so cool.
Field trip.
Yes. No, when you visit,
That'd be so cool.
when you visit, not an if,
Yeah.
when.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the back
Oh,
room,
man.
the secret places. Yeah. No.
Did you know that I think if I'm remembering correctly, because I was talking to him after, I think it was at SHOT Show. I think he was like a musician, right? Wasn't he like
Yes.
a
So he was a
yeah,
musician in Nashville, like, and he's so artistically talented. He's
right.
toured with some of the best musicians out there, and even now, like, he's playing a show, or he did last night when I recorded this episode last night. But no, he still plays, still writes, and yeah, he's very talented.
I love it. And I found a lot of people that are creative and are passionate about like one hobby usually tend to be very creative and passionate in other outlets as well. So that's cool to see. I
Yeah.
love that.
He also used to do Dollywood. Do you know Dolly Parton, like Dollywood here in
Yeah.
the tourist place. So he did a lot of like the shows. So like he is fully in like this production.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
In
really
it.
cool.
Oh, that's so fun. I love that.
Sorry. So yeah, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, 100% follow them. I had to mention that.
Yeah, absolutely. Cold Steel. I love Cold Steel's content. They do some really fun videos
Yep.
and promo. I don't think anyone does it better than Cold Steel because they were like the pioneers of like demonstrating what the knives are for.
Yeah.
And you can't, I mean, a lot of companies are like afraid to say that, I think sometimes.
I think that
But
that comes from Keith too, is like finding the brand spokesperson or the person that knows it. And like Keith's really put Cold Steel on the map too.
of course. And I mean, they're just so fun to watch. Blowing stuff up, stabbing the ballistic
Stabbing
dummy.
cars, yeah, stabbing the ballistic dummy. I'm like, come
I'm
on.
all about it. Yeah, I love that stuff.
The things we do for content. I think about that. I'm like, have you ever stabbed your own car? No.
Yeah, yeah, his car is lightweight. It's just Swiss cheese.
Aerodynamic. It just cuts the.
He's doing it.
No, that's awesome. Well, and those are some good recommendations. Um, with that too, okay, this will be a massive rabbit hole. Can you name some of the like favorite knives or blades that you have? And then try to do like a auto, a fixed, a folder. Like, can can you break it
Okay,
down like that?
okay, absolutely. So you're like recommendations for a brand or just like what are some of my favorites?
I think just some of your favorites, not necessarily for a brand. I think just talking about purpose, like so breaking down like why would you have a fix versus a folder? Why would you have XYZ knife and some of the favorites that you enjoy.
Absolutely. So a folding knife is great because it's compact, easy to carry, it's discreet. But a lot of the times people worry about the lock failing, the lock breaking. There's always that potential factor. And then there's like a billion different lock types that I could bore you with. But
Not boring. I think it's fascinating. Yeah.
the, I mean, you got liner locks, button locks, shark locks, super locks, triad locks, poppin' locks. But you get you got fixed blades, which eliminate that problem of it folding on your fingers, which to me and us, as outdoor enthusiasts, you need these digits.
Mhm.
So I love fixed blades, and there's you can go into like camp knives that are like giant for chopping and doing just about anything, or you can go into like you talked about Bastinelli. You got those ultra discreet, compact, utilitarian knives that are easy to deploy. I think sometimes fixed blades are usually faster. It just depends. I mean it. There's literally the new Bastinelli Grumpy that has like this new like scythe. It's like a farming scythe. It's wicked and gorgeous.
Mhm.
Um, and then there's autos, right? So if you want it to fold out, you press that button and you hang on for dear life, bam, and then it's coming out.
Mhm.
So those are fun. If you want to pretend to be John Wick, they got the out the fronts from Microtech. You can play with those things. The innie outies, as my family likes to call them.
Yes.
Those are pretty cool. Trying to think. I don't know. And then you can get the swords and stuff, and that's just a
Dude,
whole.
I can't believe you sliced that watermelon off your table. I'm like,
Was that wild? Was
cool.
that wild? That was so fun. That thing's sharp. Let me tell you right now. Okay, it is sharp. Uh, it's like holding a 26, 36-inch razor blade, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. That yeah, of course, there's like battle edges and stuff, but I touched it up with some work sharp, little work sharp magic on there, and yeah, that thing. I didn't have to pull back at all. It was just like a Bruce Lee 1-inch punch,
Yeah.
boom, and it just. So that was pretty fun. I'm doing more of those videos, so stay tuned.
I love it. I love it. That's so fun. Okay, that was a good overhaul. You've already mentioned, yeah, We Nice, Vivi, Bastinelli. What are some of the other blades that you've kind of talked about? And I don't know enough about the rabbit hole to go down to like a karambit is a style blade, and many manufacturers make them.
Mhm.
I don't know if you want to dive down like these styles of blades.
Yes, styles of blades. I mean, there's like the Tonto, for example. Like I have this one here. This is the Master Tonto.
Mhm.
This is a little bit more of an Americanized Tonto. It has that secondary point. It has the Yokote on there, which is great for snap cuts or quick movements to open up your packages. But it also comes down to a very thin edge. So that's a different style of Tonto than say like a CRKT or James Williams designed Osuraku style blade, where it's kind of more continuous up. and it just depends on what your preference is, what your mission may entail, of what you need. Same with karambits. There are so many karambits. For me personally, I love something a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact, a little bit more traditional. But if you want to get crazy, you can talk about like the tops, tack tops karambit, which is like a, I don't know, 9-inch karambit blade, which is pretty wicked. Um,
It's always
I'm
bigger is better. Yeah.
there it is. I have the Civivi Incisor 2, which is super fun. It's a button lock, so it's ultra smooth. Um, and a lot of people miss it on karambits. They make it like really chunky and blocky. This angle here where your finger lines into is super important. So they did a good job on that. Um, and really, like depending on what blade you want, it's all about what your preference is, because everyone's going to have different hands, different martial arts fighting styles, and different things that they're looking for. They might need a backup weapon retention tool for their concealed carry, or maybe they can't conceal carry, so they need to have one knife that's just going to be the perfect tool that's effective in all sorts of arenas. So
Yep. Yeah.
that's a lot of cool stuff there.
How many knives are in front of you right now?
200. There. I
I've already
I love
seen like 6. There's no way there's 2.
you. You should see, like, if I'm ever gonna watch a movie, I look like a weird doctor that like rolls out a shot mat and just has like all these things that I'm like playing with. I'm like watching John Wick or something, and I'm like playing with like the out the fronts and stuff. But yeah, I
How do
just
we get you on the next John Wick movie in all seriousness?
that's a great question. I would love to be one of those like either weird bad guys,
Yes.
that just does the knife stuff, or even on John Wick's team, being like doing part of like the mission or something where he has to like maybe one of the duels is he can't use a gun, right? And it can only be knife. And
Yeah.
he has to like train with like some, some knife foo.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That would be wild. I'd love to do it. Shout out Terran Tactical for that goodness, bringing it to life in the movie.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
we gotta make this happen. I'm gonna send an email. JR, this episode. Put Tomas
yeah,
on the next one.
it, man. I'd love to. I'd love to do that. I think that's actually really cool to consider, and it's actually something that someone else talked to me about too. Is like going into film, going into movies. I'm not opposed to doing it. I
You're
just
in the
want
right
to,
state.
and that's it. Absolutely. And it's a cool thing to be able to like bring the art of the blade to a wider range of people. And I think one of the best shows that did that was Forged in Fire.
Yeah.
The competition knife making show is just, it's so entertaining. You have Doug Marcaida on there testing the blades. Dave Baker, who's renowned for creating like the Pirates of the Caribbean sword. Like he would make these props for these movies.
Yep.
And it's like, it's so cool. And like, I hope you don't mind if we go down this rabbit hole.
No, do it.
I think that some of like our most profound movie experiences also relate to cutlery. You think of like Rambo, boom, first thing Rambo knife. You think of like Crocodile Dundee. That's not a knife. This is a knife. It's like you got all these like synonymous blades in movies, and I think it's like a cool part of the culture because it's so accessible. Everyone has a knife, and everyone has been arguably cut by one, whether they're cooking on accident or working, pulling up carpet. They all understand the level of intensity that comes along with a knife, because no matter what angle it is, it's going to be sharp, it's going to be pointed.
They
Not
respect
like
it. Yeah.
right, and respect it. So I think that'd be really cool to bring that to more audience members and entertain more people on a bigger scale. That would be super fun.
100%. Have you met Dave?
No, I
I
don't.
just met him at Blade Show and got a photo with him. And
Did you really?
yeah,
How was he? Was he
it was
nice?
the coolest. He was so sweet. Like, nicest thing. It was funny because he was just standing there like by himself, which I kind of found odd at the time because it is a small show and a big show at the same time. And I just kind of turned around like, hi. Um, it's like, hi. I don't even know how to start, but I was with, yeah, dude, his mustache was on point. He was like sharing why he was at the show, buying some of the materials to like make blades with and the grips with and stuff. And so nice. So yeah, I got a selfie with him, put it on Facebook. People are like, shut up. I'm like, dude, this
Love it.
blade show's been awesome because
Oh,
it was interesting too. I'm sure I want to dive into this still. Is like you competing in your first match is kind of like me going to my first blade show. It's like fished out of water, but it's
right.
gonna be a ride.
It's going to be fun. And it's like, I think with this community, we kind of understand that there's not a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
Like once you know a couple of people, you start to know more people, and then you're there.
Mhm.
It's also very helpful. Like there's a lot of people that have helped like take me under their wing and show me things. And I'm sure it's like that with the firearms community too, which it's true. I'm breaking into it and I'm absolutely loving it. I am. I
Oh,
am.
okay. Why did you sign up for your first match? Was there someone that was kind of like influential in that? Did you just say like, I'm gonna do it? Like, why?
That's
Why? What happened?
Jim Young.
Oh, okay.
It
Okay.
was Jim Young. He told me, he was like, because he invited me shooting one time and it was like a while ago and I was like, yo, this is fun. Like this is literally a blast. Like, let's do it. And he goes, well, people compete, right? And I'm like, I've heard about it. I've seen like some of the videos. Like, I think one of the more, like one of the guys I follow is like JJ
Rakaza.
Rakuda.
Rakaza.
Rakaza, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, yo, this man is amazing.
JJ's a sweetheart. Yeah, I shoot with him a lot.
And there's like so many cool people and like cool things out there. I was like, this is a nice little community. So yeah, so I signed up for my first match and it went really, really well.
That's
So
surprising because most people get there, get a slice of humble pie, realize their gear is gonna break. They don't think they're as good of a shooter as possible. So, did you train before going? Did you practice before going, or what'd you do?
one time, one time. Like, I'm not even trying to be like, oh, like I did really good. Like, I didn't think I was gonna do good. I want to stress that
Yeah.
right now. Like, I was so nervous, but I think it kind of relates to everything that I had been into, like drawing a knife. Like, I do that repetition like 1,000 times. So I felt like I was kind of maybe like halfway above like
100%.
a newbie starting because I got the draw down. I
Yep.
have that muscle memory. And then it was also like, oh, with martial arts, like right before a match, right before a fight, it just goes to like this like serene calm and all I focused on was like those steel plates and I was like, yes, let's go.
What was your favorite stage? Like, how many of the stages did you shoot? 4 or 5?
I think it was 5.
Okay, 5. Yeah.
It was like
Um.
a steel shoot
Mhm.
and I posted one video about it.
That's what I
I was
saw.
shooting a Springfield Operator 1911 and 45 ACP.
Why? Why? Is
That's what I
that yours?
like. Yes.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I had recently gotten it too and I was like, this will be great. And I pull out the ammo, right? I pull out the ammo. I didn't know what it was. I got it from a friend. And my friend looks at it. He goes, "Do you know what this is?" And I go, "What?" He goes, "This is like military, like 248 grain or something. I don't even know. Some like high end pack a punch grain." And let me tell you what, I felt it. Okay, I'm not even gonna pretend like that was easy. No, it rocked my hand, and I loved it. Okay, but it was so fun. So yeah, I might be looking at like a because I'm a lefty too. A lot of people don't realize that.
Shut
I'm
up.
left-handed. Yeah, are you lefty?
No, but like
Oh.
so many people in this world, by the way, are left-handed. I'm not surprised, but that's never registered with me in any of your content. So great.
And that's the thing is because the
Oh,
camera, I think, mirrors it, so
it
people
does.
see it on the right side, and they go, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. I can do that." And so they mirror it. So it's kind of like a cool thing. So
Yeah.
anyone who watches this podcast gets to know some more insider information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a lefty, so for me, it's always been kind of challenging, like trying to find a firearm that like I feel comfortable with. And the operator had the left-handed, ambidextrous side
Safety.
safety,
Yes. Yeah.
and I was like, I need that. So there it is.
Yeah.
Threw up a little Surefire X300 on there, and we're going,
And you
slinging left.
drew from a holster and everything. Like that's the craziness.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is like, uh, finding a holster is also challenging because left-handed, and it's like I know there's a lot of like custom makers out there and stuff, but I'm always looking. So I will probably send you like a bunch of questions after this, like,
Perfect. I'm
hey,
in.
what do you recommend? And if you have any knife questions, you can send them my way too. And
I have so many questions.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Number
Whatever.
1, how do I not hurt myself?
Get a trainer.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Practice, and then I don't know. I go slow. I think it's just like everything. Like that's one of my personal things I've been working on is like slowing down,
Yeah.
taking a breath. Because like when I did Blade HQ and I was working, I was like talking so fast. I was so excited, but it takes a second to like hear that information, understand it, and then process it. And for me, like sometimes when I'm talking, I just get so fast and I'm just like ready to go.
So that's me. Like, yeah, yeah. I was at the Medford Knives booth and Bobby was like, God, you talk fast. I'm like, and I'm Southern. you would think I would go slow, and it's because I'm so excited. Yeah, I have to slow down my speaking.
Exactly. Just and it feels like you're going in like, ultra slow-mo, but then for other people it is like normal.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oof.
Very
Speed
painful.
up, Larry. Let's go. Okay. We got stuff to talk about.
Uh-huh.
But
Yep.
yes, that's been something I'm working on. And just like with that repetitive motion of like, working on your draw, working on your reload, like all of these things just kind of come into play and, just becomes muscle memory. So I'm excited to compete again. To be honest, like I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm excited for you. That's
Thank you.
awesome.
I'm excited too. Like it was so fun.
It
So
is fun. Well, I highly recommend a 9 mil for
okay.
sure. I mean, I'm impressed. Like, there's not very many people that are ever going to go out there and shoot 40 or 45 at steel plates, especially because there's no power factor with steel challenge. But like 22s or shooting PCC, but like, no, it would be more fun all day.
Maybe I will take that into consideration next time
But I'm
and
impressed.
and do it.
Or just
But yeah, let me
keep your style of your Hawaiian shirts, the 1911, the 45 ACP. Like, you're already on your way to being a boomer. Like, this is good.
I just got to get a Dave Baker mustache, baby. You know what I'm saying? Grow that thing out.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah, that's.
Oh,
I'm definitely in the market and looking for a ambidextrous
yeah.
1911 platform, left-handed, 9 millimeter, but maybe like the Springfield Prodigy. I think is pretty cool.
So I actually like that gun. People hate that I like that gun.
Oh, really?
Some come from the manufacturer not working. Mine works, but yeah, I did the 5 inch. I put a grip module on it from Phoenix Trinity, and then I did the Terran Tactical magwell, flared magwell. So everything on that gun, like, and then I changed the trigger. So it's like you can get the stock Prodigy, so I giggle, and it's great, right? But like for me, I went full bougie with it and changed some parts out. So there's like the slide in the barrel is from Springfield.
There it is.
But yes, it's for the price of it. Out of the box, it ran great. Mine upgraded ran great. So yeah, I think that would be a good buy for you for sure. Actually, that's exactly what I would look at.
I'm totally open to any other suggestions too, because
Well, I
I'm in.
shoot for Nighthawk Custom, and so those
Okay.
guns are phenomenal, but they're premium.
Yeah. Hey, real quick,
Uh-huh.
expensive.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like they're an investment, but they are like when you talk about blades, it's kind of how I talk about 2011s and like the art of making these because it's
Absolutely.
one gunsmith, start to finish, handmade, hand fitted, hand beveled, just so beautiful, and they do everything custom where it's like, do you want the ambi safety, what trigger, what grip texture, so everything is what you want, you know.
I love that, and it's a good thing. It's just like with anything, they got those premium levels, and I feel like there's a certain point that there's like a good space where you pay for what you get,
Yeah.
And when it comes to either competition or self protection, like I personally would want the best of the best for the worst day of my possible life, right? And it's like I want it reliable, I want it to run right, and I want it to be beautiful at the same time because. What's the point in carrying it if it's ugly, Like,
Yep. Even my holsters, I look over here. My holsters have floral prints, Hawaiian prints, uh, sprinkles. So
oh, there.
it's funny this is happening that we're recording this today because I have the pink desert. I can't even
It's
talk. Kalashnikov Auto,
yeah,
the
yeah,
sprinkles.
nice.
Today they finally re-put it in stock because I was out of town last time of the blue grip
Mm.
sprinkles from
Mm.
Blade HQ. And so I literally parked on the side of the road today driving at noon Eastern and bought that knife. So now I'll have both.
Oh, that's exciting. Congratulations.
It's like the
Oh,
dumbest knives is what I want. So everything donuts and sprinkles, I'm in.
let me tell you something. At first, I hated the thing. And I'm like, why the hell are we doing this?
Huh?
What is the point? But let me tell you something. I think that is one of the best tactical knives you could ever get. And let me tell you why. I'm not even bullshit. Literally, here's the reason. They have the Microtech OTF with the donut
Yep.
warrior,
Then I have the Civivi one. So I have the
the
Civivi.
Elementum.
Yep.
I think also recently they came out with the Civivi button lock Elementum donut
Yes.
desert warrior. If anyone looks at it, they're going to think, oh, this is very colorful. This is a sprinkle donut knife. And I think that color psychology is absolutely beneficial for that tool if you're going to carry it in different sorts of environments or travel with it.
And add a
Yeah.
woman to it, and it's like, oh, she's harmless. Nope.
Yeah, it's for cutting donuts. That's all it's for.
Like,
like you locked and loaded.
yeah,
I love that. It's a beautiful knife. Honestly, it's grown on me.
good,
It's cool.
good. Yeah, I love it. I carry it almost daily now. It's just
Yeah,
so funny to think about. I'm like, no, it's a good knife.
it is. It has a cult following too. Like those things sell out in seconds.
That's the problem, is that's why I pulled over at noon Eastern, got on there and got it like by 12:01. I'm like, all right, here we go.
That's insanely cool. Congratulations. I'm glad you got it. That's
There
good.
you go. With that though, I know we've digressed a little bit, but talking about you work with, remind me, Work Sharp, and then there's other sharpening. Do you work with other companies as well in that realm?
Wicked Edge. Wicked Edge
Okay.
as well, which I personally use it every day, which I know sounds kind of wild because everyone's like, what? But I also run a knife sharpening business. So when I work on a knife, especially the higher end ones, you don't want to put it to a grinder because you can ruin the heat temper. You can remove a lot of material and it just changes the shape of the knife sometimes if you don't know what you're doing. So the Wicked Edge is gorgeous because you lock it in, clamp it down, and you just go. And similar with the new Worksharp, Professional Precision Adjust is pretty amazing because it's budget friendly for the average person kind of getting into maintaining their knives at a higher level, instead of just buying another one, which I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. Why do it? Buy another one, and I'm like, what?
I was
What?
gonna say
What?
my sharpening kit's up there. It's hidden because I haven't taken it out in a while, but I did get that from Smoky Mountain Knife and Gun Works. So
Yeah, yeah. Just like oiling, maintaining your guns, you got to oil and maintain your knives too.
that's something Rob taught me, Philo Blade Works, and yeah, the oiling was like, oh duh.
Right.
But
Steel.
I straight up do use I use gun butter, but different gun oils. I don't actually have a knife oil. I don't know if there is one. Sorry, but yeah, that's what I use.
I mean, I sometimes will just use mineral oil on my everyday carry knife. And the reason being is if I ever cut food with it,
Yeah.
I don't want WD-40 to enhance the flavors of my, meal. You know what I'm saying? Coming out all weird,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be so gross. Yep, yep.
I've seen it. Like the worst thing, like oh man, there's some people that like don't maintain their tools, right? And hey, do you have a pocket knife? And they pull it out, and like it's like a plume of like pocket lint.
Yep.
And, it's got all like that cardboard tape on there, and I'm just like, oh no.
Imagine being a firearms instructor. I had one guy that locked his slide back finally after having this gun in like the safe. There was straight up cobwebs, rust everywhere. I mean, orange, like not brown anymore. Like we're at the corrosion part. No, I'm like, there's people that have never oiled it, never cleaned it. They don't even know how to take apart their gun. And I'm like, cool. And this ammunition is like dark brown where it used to be red. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's insane. Is that dangerous, right? Because when
Oh,
you're teaching
very.
people, like, you want it to work right, and then they're like, "Oh, why isn't it? Oh no!" Like a new gunner. You gotta go
Uh-huh.
slow, go fast, and make sure that safety is a priority. And yeah, if
Yep.
your tools aren't in working order, like if they're not sharp, they're not safe,
Yep.
and if they're not clean, it's not safe. So yeah, it goes hand in hand. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think those are good important lessons of, yeah, love your gear, give good time to your gear. I don't always I'm not the profession of cleaning my stuff, but I do like before a major match, I'm definitely like cleaning everything, oiling everything. I'm like, the last thing is like, if it's something that I could control and I didn't do it, then that's on me. If I can do everything for the
Right.
gun and then it malfunctions, like there's nothing I could have done. But yeah, you just want to hit yourself if you spend so much time and money and effort and then you didn't maintain the tool.
Exactly. Let me ask you this: do you ever bring like a backup? Do
Yeah.
you normally bring backups?
Think about this. So I shoot 3 guns, so pistol, rifle, shotgun, custom rifle, optic, like all the good stuff. I bring a backup per firearm. How much money do you think driving around on the road? I think about this. I'm like, good Lord.
So you bring a backup for everyone?
Huh.
Damn, you probably look like a little narco driving around. You know what I'm saying? They're like,
So bad. I have a
it's like boxes hanging out the window, locks on them and stuff, and it's just like tons and tons. That's smart though, because it's like you never know what can happen. And maybe I don't know if they're like identical, but for me, I would think like, oh, maybe if like the spring pops out on one, I have that backup gear thing I could slap in there and then run it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, all of us gun people that do things correctly, like we always have spare parts. So if it's like trigger parts or it's springs or stuff like that, 100%. Yeah. And like, I mean, mostly for rifles, like it's gonna be a bolt carrier group. Maybe it's a gas ring, but you can 100% swap bolts. You don't have to like take out the whole gun, or swap uppers and lowers, if you know what I'm talking about, where you can just disassemble. Yeah. But like, yeah, and then even with the backups, it's like I've had to use backups before, and having identical setups, and it sounds silly, but like if you train all the time, you want to have the same trigger mechanism, have the same muzzle brake if it's going to be like, yeah. So I nerd out over all that, trying to make everything as similar as possible. Yeah.
That's so smart. That makes total sense.
It's
100%.
annoying, but yeah, it's like let's do this, and then half the time, honestly, is like all of us, and this is the same with the knife community. I'm sure is like if something goes down in a match, I'm like, hey, just use my backup. Hey, grab my back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's someone at the match that's gonna have spare stuff for people to run. So
That's really cool. I like that.
I've had to use people's stuff too before. They're like,
Are
hey,
you
this,
really?
like that. Oh yeah, just
Oh man.
recently. I borrowed an open shotgun that never worked, and so I ended up borrowing another person's open shotgun, and it ran flawlessly. But like, neither one of those were mine, which is kind of fun because then I got to give them both back and be like, "All right, you got to clean them." Like,
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, but here you go. Oh, that's so cool. And
my community is the best.
yeah, no, that sounds so fun. I think three gun would be really cool because you're doing, like you said, like those three different things, those three different disciplines, the shotgun reloads, the variable optics. I'm sure you got like a 1 to 8 or something.
That's exactly what I have. Good job.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it.
So fun. We'll have to get you shooting more action stuff for sure now that we've got the taste.
Now that I'm down with the sickness, I'm down. Like, let's go. I'm so excited.
Pure addiction. So what's next for you? Like, what does your schedule look like? What events are you going to, or where can we find you
Yeah.
next?
You can find me John Wick Chapter 5. We're gonna be I'm speaking it into existence. Okay, that's what we're
I'm
doing.
gonna help. I'm here
Uh,
for it. Let's go. Let's go.
yeah, that'd be wild. Really just growing the tactical tavern and trying to connect with more people. So I think what I'm considering doing is actually integrating firearms into it, which has been kind of like a thing where I'm like, I don't know. I've been kind of on the fence about it because obviously you hear about all these like horror stories, like you get the demonetizing and stuff. But I think if you go into it with good intentions of trying to help people, and which is what I would want to do, encourage them to get out there, safety and all of that. I think that's kind of the next step is going to be integrating a little bit more of that, sharing some of my journey, maybe like traveling to a match, hey, we're traveling to Oklahoma or I don't know where they have them, Vermont.
Don't go to Oklahoma. They have grasshoppers that punch you in the eyeball.
Oh, is that
That's
where it
where it
was?
happens. Don't go to. Yep, but keep going. Travel.
Oh, no.
Really funny you said that. For folks that are listening, I got hit in the eye by a grasshopper in Oklahoma on my birthday at my last match. So don't go there.
Dang. I didn't know it was a grasshopper.
That's what I kept saying offline. Is my new nickname is
Little G, little grasshopper. Oh, no. Well, I didn't mean to bring up anything traumatizing, but that sucks. I'm glad you're healing up. You look great. I mean,
Thank
this
you.
is good.
Thank you.
It's just a glass eye in there now. I don't know.
I know. But
Could you
okay, so
imagine?
traveling. Don't just skip over Oklahoma. Go to a different state. Pick any other.
That I don't know wherever the matches are, but I think it'd be fun to do like some more personal vlogs and videos, sharing my journey, maybe some martial art workouts, and some food integration because I love cooking.
Yep.
And just sharing more of me, just maybe not make me focusing so much on like the knives and the products and stuff, but like what can you do with them, going out on more adventures, and just filming it, because it's going to take a little bit of a learning curve, filming a hike or like filming a whitewater rafting trip, but that is some stuff that we have planned in the works.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you for coming on. Is there any final words of wisdom, thoughts, or anything that we didn't cover that you want to say?
Man, thank you so much for this opportunity. This has been so fun. And I feel like I know you already, even
Me
though this
too.
is really like our first time meeting.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
really weird. Like,
Isn't that
so
cool?
our industries, it's so weird, but it's not like we've normalized it. It's like we talk online, we've connected in email, but it's like I feel like I've seen your personality, even though we've never met in person, but still I feel like I know you. And I think our vibes are similar in terms of high energy a little bit.
Yes, I'm here
Yeah.
for it. I am.
So,
Yeah, I don't just thank you so much. And man, I'm just excited for the future and hopefully to continue to inspire more people to get into gadgets, gear, and all things everyday carry.
Perfect. Well said. Well, listeners, go follow at Tactical Tavern. YouTube. Are you on and TikTok? You got TikTok and Instagram.
YouTube, I
Anywhere
mean,
else?
TikTok, yeah, Reels, Shorts.
Yep.
Find me on MySpace. AOL. I don't know. I don't even know. Kenzie, thanks for putting up with me, Kenzie. I really appreciate you.
I love this. I match it. I love it. I love the nerdiness. So cool. Well, thank you for coming on. Listeners, stay tuned next week for an all new episode of the Reticle Up podcast. And thanks for learning with me tonight.
Thanks for listening to the Reticle Up podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow along on social media at Reticle Up or 3 Gun Kenzie.